This is meant to be a very quick outline of things that you should know about functions. You should be familiar with function notation. If I write something down along these general lines, you should recognize that I'm trying to define a function f. The x represents some kind of input number. The f parentheses, because you know the context does not in any way say that there is multiplication of f times x. It's saying to do what f does to the input x. So from here on out, if I put something in the parentheses, I know that I'm just going to think of what's in the parentheses as something that needs to be operated on according to the rule, and then an output will result. You probably noticed that most functions seem to be named either f or maybe g or h. Now here's a minor subtlety. Since just about every function that we look at is named f, the first step is obviously going to be that we have to tell people what our particular f at the time actually does. So when I wrote down this statement over here a minute ago, this is really kind of an official introduction as to what our f at the moment is going to do. The x is not important particularly here. I could have used, as a way of introduction, something like this. I could have used any letter that I wanted to represent an input. The name was not important. I could be silly this way. There are lots of ways to be silly. However, essentially what's going on is that x kind of represents a fill-in-the-blank space. So if I want to find, say, f at 3, well, essentially what I'm saying is, all right, I have to fill in that blank everywhere. We're back to our familiar calculation from before. Now, where things become moderately more confusing, I think, is when you write something like this down, where x is only a part of the expression that's being used as the input. What's inside the parentheses is what goes into each blank. So I would take my x plus 2 in this case and do to it what f does to any other number. You may have preferred to leave it like this, but it's usually understood that when you write down an answer, you try to put it into its most palatable form. Simplifying it, since this is a polynomial, will do the things that people expect you to do when you simplify a polynomial. And I'll try to finish this thing off now. All right, and there's my answer. If you were going to tell someone the position of a mountain, you might say something like 10 miles north of you. You'd be giving them the horizontal positioning, not the up and down. That would take care of itself. It's a similar sort of situation when you're telling people where to locate points on the graph of a function. You just need to tell them the x-coordinate of that point. The x gives the horizontal positioning of any point, and there's only one point that goes with a given x. Plugging into the formula would tell you the y, and then you'd have complete information about the position of the point. For example, if someone was asking the location of the point A on the graph of y equal to f of x as pictured, I would tell them that it's located at x equal to 5. If you know what the function is, and if you know that the point A is located at x equal to 5, then you can refer to the formula for f to figure out what the y is. You know everything there is to know about that point. So where is B? Can find B, find at least an approximate x there. B seems to be at least near x equal to 13. So the final moral here is just that if you're referring to where things are happening on the graph of a function, you should only refer to the x's in order to communicate that information.